Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 15 of Canadian Woman of the Outdoors. Before we get into it, a couple housekeeping things. Super excited. This is my first episode that I've recorded since everything fell into place, but I am super excited to announce that we officially have our first sponsor. We are sponsored by Revolution Armory. So I will be shooting their guns throughout the hunting season this year. First up for turkey, I will be shooting their RX2. So on our YouTube channel, we will be doing videos of our hunts and patterning the gun and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's super exciting. We have a few other sponsorships in the works as well. So stay tuned for those. Okay, so that's kind of the one big thing. Second thing that we're gonna get off right now. For those watching the YouTube, I know that you are looking to my right and you see a gentleman. Yep, this is Canadian Woman of the Outdoors, but we also do very much support Canadian local businesses. And this gentleman happens to own a very local Canadian business, hunting decoy business out of Hamilton. And he actually grew up and went to high school with me, which we learned when we kind of
Yeah.
reconnected. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but please welcome to the stage Erik Setlla, and he owns Decoy Daddy, which
Thanks, Nicole.
is hot off the press, new silhouette decoy company out of Hamilton. You live in Hamilton now, right?
Live in Hamilton. Yeah. Yeah.
So out of Hamilton, Ontario. So welcome,
Yeah.
Erik, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're pushing this stuff all out of the garage right now. So that's where we're sitting in the office.
I was gonna say I can see all the boxes and all the
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
But that's awesome though. Like it's again when we kind of reconnected, I guess at the Sportsman show, and oh, you went to MM. Oh, I went to MM. Wait, what? We're only a year apart. Oh, we definitely
Yeah.
went to high school together.
Yeah.
Like
We were there. We were there at the same time. We were
there's
walking the
no.
halls for sure.
And I'm like, I went to go find my yearbooks and I couldn't find them. I was like, oh, I need to find them because that's
Oh
just
shit.
absolutely hilarious. Like the old school MM yearbooks. Like we've
Yeah.
definitely probably partied
Definitely
at some point.
100%.
There's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
there's
What was
probably
that
been
park?
some. Yeah.
What was that? There was that park. It was that shitty park over by
I know
Notre Dame.
I know exactly what one you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it though.
Oh, I forget.
All
It
the
was a
parties
gong
though.
show. It was always a
Oh,
gong show. It never
or
failed.
like the little field there. There was always the field there too.
There was a field and there was a rolly bird.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
disaster.
Oh
Fucking
my god, that's a blast from the past.
Burlington.
Oh,
Fucking
Burlington.
Burlington.
Just and then now here we are both doing outdoorsy shit.
Yeah, away from
Um
Burlington.
so I mean, we've all talked about my story. So what's your story then? How did you get into the hunting? If you fish, I don't know if you fish, but how did you get into the
Yeah.
hunting fishing
So
thing?
I always fished. Like fishing was a thing I always did, like with my dad growing up. And then I got like my best group of buddies now, I'd say. Um, they were heavy into fishing as well, so they were going ice fishing. They did a fourth body, I don't know, 6 years ago, something like that. So I met these guys. So one of my buddies is what connected me with them, and he's like, you want to come ice fishing with us? It's like over a weekend up at Nipissing. I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm always down to meet new
Oh
people. It
yeah.
doesn't bother me. Right. I'm like, let's do it. So he's like, all right, I'll introduce you to my buddies. And I was like, how are we getting there? Whatever. I ended up, I would drive. So I literally met these guys in a parking lot at Limebridge Mall. I don't know, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, on like a Friday morning, and loaded up my truck. And then we just drove up north and we spent 4 days together. These
And
poor guys.
you've never met them before.
Never met Matt and me. So I never met two of them before. Just those two guys I never met. Now they're like my closest friends. And I was like, yeah, like we're gonna go. It doesn't bother me, right?
That
So
is
we
so
went up there.
city of you. That's
Yeah, right.
fine.
Yeah, fuck, whatever. So I went up, and that was the year I actually caught my personal best pike through the ice. I caught a 42-inch pike through the ice,
Holy
which was
shit.
unbelievable. And we got it all on video.
How
And it
long did
was
that take you to
unreal.
get up?
It was probably a good 10-15 minutes for sure.
Oh
And
my
like
god.
not set up for pike. Like not set up for pike. I was half asleep on my bed you know, when you're laying on those wooden beds, I'm just
Oh
doing
yeah.
this over my shoulder, right? We're a little
Yep.
cooked, you know, everyone's drinking. I'm just jigging like this, and all of a sudden my arm goes wham, snaps back. I'm like, oh shit, roll around, you know, set the hook in. I caught it on like out of desperation. I had a walleye trolling rig,
I was
and
gonna say, yeah.
it had this like little foam, I don't know, like floater that was I guess supposed to. I don't know. I found it in my tackle box. I have no idea where it came from, and I had hooked up to a couple minnows to it. And anyways, yeah, finally we landed that. It was 42 inches. I don't know, probably just less than 20 pounds, maybe. I don't know. I don't
That's
think we actually weighed it, but it was nuts. That was nuts. So then right there, the guys that I had never met, they're like, yeah, yeah, this guy, we got to keep him in the group.
obviously
Haven't caught shit
if
since.
42-pound pike or 42-inch
Yeah,
pike.
42
Yeah,
inch pike. Yeah,
you gotta keep them in the
yeah,
group if you're catching 42-inch pike. Like
yeah.
hell, I wanna go fishing with you
Exactly.
on a little walleye. But
Not expecting that.
well, Nip is weird for that. Like Nip
Hmm.
is very like Caitlin caught like her personal best smallmouth bass, almost I think it was almost 4.5 pounds on like a
Yeah, it's
little
wild.
like, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
Like Nipissing
they
is
eat
something
anything,
else.
man. Like
It's
that's the thing,
crazy.
right? Big fish eat little fish, and they eat big fish, so you can kind of, you know, you can do it. But anyway, so that's how I met the guys.
Yeah.
And then after that, like they, you know, Matt hunted. Matt, so his thing is Bands and Spurs on Instagram. And I think you met him at the show.
I was gonna say that was one of the gentlemen I met at the
Yeah,
show.
he's
Yeah.
the one with the
Sweetheart.
glasses.
Oh,
Got glasses.
sweetheart.
Yeah,
Sweetheart.
yeah.
Sweetheart.
So he was like, he's kind of pushed me. He's like, yo, you got to come hunting with us. Go get a gun. Da, da, da.
Did you have your license or did you wait
I had my firearms license. I had my firearms license. I had my hunt. No, I didn't have my hunting license. So they pushed me to get that. So I
okay.
spent, you know, a weekend. At that point, it was. I think now it's all online. But
Yeah.
I, you know,
It takes
I
like
did.
4 hours online now as opposed
Yeah,
to 2 days on a weekend.
yeah. I did the weekend thing up in like Aurelia. So I drove to Aurelia
Oh,
for two
shit.
days, which kind of
Yeah.
sucked. But I
Yeah.
was like, I got to get it done. So, and then yeah, I got into hunting, and like the first thing I shot and killed was I doubled up on black ducks, which was
You're
wicked.
kidding me, right?
No, legit.
You
Got it on
you
GoPro.
shot what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Double black
nuts.
ducks, eh?
Double black ducks. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my
Then once
god.
that happens, and I've said this like the other guys, it's like you're hooked. There's no getting
Oh.
out of it, right? Like you're just like hook, line, sinker, full thing. And I was super stoked, super stoked. Um,
Oh.
just propels you into the atmosphere of like duck hunting, right?
And,
Um,
like, ducks are a different thing to shoot than goose. Like, ducks are bullets. Like,
yeah.
they're
Oh yeah.
going they
Yeah.
are, like, flying
Yeah.
right past in front of you, not, like, coming in nicely or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you hit a
And they
duck,
don't
like,
ever do
that's a
that for us,
no.
which is jokes, right? So you're
Yeah,
always you're just pass shooting.
yeah.
So that was cool. Like that was so that would have been like, I don't know, 6 years ago. I met these guys, and started hunting. And every year I got increasingly more into it, more into it, more into it. And you know, life happens, and sometimes you can't get out as much as you want to or whatever. But now pretty well into this,
Yeah. Oh, well, I would say you own now
pretty
compa
invested into
yeah,
it.
and I mean, I guess that's kind of a good, like, segue into,
It's gonna force me to go.
how and why. So if you've been hunting 4, 5, 6 years, however long, were you always hunting over silhouettes or were you
No,
hunting over
we had hard bodies. We had hard bodies, and
yeah?
then it got too much. Like, I mean, we still have them. We still prefer to shoot over. Like, I love to shoot over hard bodies. If you can get them into a field and set up, and you can get them to the field, right?
But
That's
that's
the
the
big
thing.
battle, right? You got to store them, and then you know everyone's, you know, all of my buddies have 3 or 4 bags of hard bodies of geese, and they got 3 or 4 bags of ducks, and you know, congratulations, we have like 4 dozen. That's not enough,
And
right?
it's
But
not
like
enough, no, and
fills
then,
it,
like,
but
you
then
need,
it
like, a
fills everyone's
trailer
trucks.
full. Yeah.
Exactly. You need a trailer, you need a place to store it, and then you gotta, you know, the time to set up is a lot more. And then if you don't have like all of our fields, we can't really drive into our fields. So you gotta
Yeah.
walk. And if
Mhm.
you're walking a kilometer, you're going back and forth to the truck 6 times. Like that kind of ruins your day.
Yeah.
At least for us. We're lazy. We're convenience hunters. So
I mean, work
Silos,
smart, not hard, right?
yeah, exactly. And we got carts and stuff, you
Yeah.
know, as we were getting into it. And then with Silos, We bought a bunch of dive bomb and great decoys, whatever. And last year I was kind of thinking we were all bitching about how the industry is so hard to get. It's expensive. It's so expensive to get decoys, right? Like you can
Ridiculous.
hard bodies are expensive because they're big and like they're a lot of material. But silos were too expensive to get them to your door. Shipping out of the States, $300 a dozen is
That
too
ends
much.
up between like your duty and then the exchange rate and everything too.
And shipping, yeah,
It ends up you're better at that point going to Cabela's like in Barrie or Bass Pro, and you're paying the same amount to get 6 full bodies or
yeah,
a dozen, like, and it's kinda when it ends up
yeah.
costing you $300-400 just to get it
Oh
to your
yeah,
door,
yeah,
is the
yeah.
exchange rate is brutal right now.
Well, it's like 36% now, right?
It's
So
ridiculous, and then your duties plus whatever shipping costs, like, it's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah. It's a big toll. So that's kind of why we got into this. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this, and took a long time to like research it and speak with manufacturing facilities and get what we wanted. We went through many um, prototypes or like versions of before
Mhm.
we found what we wanted, and we're still like we're not happy. I'd say we have a very good decoy. We're very excited about it, but we're continuing to evolve. We already have our version 2, which we showed at the show,
Is that the
which are
one I
these
bought?
guys.
That's the one I bought, I think, right?
No, you guys got version 1.
Yeah?
So these are what's coming. So these have like the feather detail on the butt. I don't know. My
Oh, okay,
camera's
yeah, yeah.
my
Yeah, yeah.
camera's kind of grainy.
That's
I don't know if it's my screen or what, but that's our version 2, and it still has the flocked head and all
yeah.
that. So that's staying the same. We're not gonna have. We've talked about it. We probably won't have like a non-flocked version.
Mhm,
Maybe down the line if it's just something like people want to add mass numbers and we can do a really really good price on it.
mhm.
But as of right now, I think we don't want to create like a cheaper product, right?
No.
Our whole brand is about, it's almost like luxury hunting products. That's why like I've with these hats, right? Like I just find
The
like
one I'm wearing?
and that one that you got there, like we put a lot of time into them, and I was very firm when we're developing this. Like I want these to look premium, right? I
Yeah.
want them to be premium because like I have a plan of where we're going to be in 5 years. And with our bags, I'm looking at our decoy bags, like with the
Oh,
aluminum with the
yeah.
clips,
Those
right?
bags
So
are fantastic.
we're
Like,
super excited for them. We're just trying to do things a little bit different, but then create, like, we're not going to be the new guy, the new cheap guy. Nobody needs a new cheap guy in the market. There's no point. We don't like
I'm
You don't need it.
you're not that cheap. I mean, it's not that it's, like, it's cheaper, but I mean, still, it's
Yeah,
to me, like, it's still costly. It's costly to
it is.
hunt, though. Like,
Oh, for
hunting
sure.
is an
Oh God.
expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, your bags that I saw them, which first of all, the fact that you had your bags with a little bit of blood on them at the show, fantastic. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so these have actually been used, and so these
Yep.
have been put through the ringer. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The aluminum clips, brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
you are absolutely coming out with some stuff that's, and we'll get into the other thing that I'm currently obsessed with. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for mine to come.
Yeah.
So with, just out of curiosity, because I've never even thought about it, asked about it, what goes into like the research and development to develop a silhouette decoy? Like, do you have to pick like patterns or birds or
So
pictures? Like, what's kind of the, how does that work? Just out of curiosity.
so like a picture of a goose is a picture of a goose essentially. However, whose picture of the goose is important. So we had to provide some artwork to get,
Okay.
and then we have to make changes to, and you have to alter things. You can't just copy paste. If you copy paste, it's problematic, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of brands. There's a lot of brands that do that, and like it looks copy paste to like the naked eye, but there is stuff that gets changed, and sometimes it's quartering, sometimes it's feather layout, it's combining two or three different different photos of like, oh, I like this pattern over this. I like these bolder colors, or I like these lighter colors. I like,
Mhm.
so there is a little bit of back and forth there. There's a attention to detail, like on the beaks, right? So do I have, I think I had two. So like, here's one of our versions that we didn't approve. And you can see like that detail in that beak versus this guy. And it's subtle. It's hard to tell on camera, but we have a more
Oh,
defined
okay. Yeah.
image of the beak.
Yeah.
So, and I talked about this with my fiance. I was like, does it really matter? Because once the birds get that close, you're gonna be shooting them, right? I probably
Yeah.
could have just made those straight plain black, right? But by
Yeah.
adding those details, it makes us ours. It makes it ours.
Mhm.
Um, so we did that, and then going back about the product. I can't say too much on it. It's not proprietary. It's not proprietary by any means,
Yeah.
but our board is a little bit thicker. It's a 1200 grain weight, or 1200 weight is the
Yes.
coroplast. So it's a little bit thicker than the, call it, what's in our market right now.
Mhm.
It's thicker than the stuff that I have from other companies.
Yeah.
And I wanted that because when I buy something that costs $150, I want it to feel like it's $150 worth of product.
Well, that's
And
exactly
that's
it.
the feeling that
Yeah.
I got out of this. I think that
Yeah.
hunting is a very personal thing, and I think when you put your hard-earned money into something, when you get that product, you want to be like, feel it and go, yeah, this feels nice.
Mhm.
Also, the coating, like, or not the coating, but like the lamination process that we use for our decoys is a little bit different, and you can feel it's got like a texture to it. That helps with the shine and any
I
glare.
did. I when we were chatting at the sportsman show and I was all up in your booth and
Yeah,
feeling out all the decoys, I was like, "Oh my god, like these are I
yeah,
can't wait to use them this fall. I can't wait to try them
yeah.
out. I'm very excited to try them out. Um, how many decoys, side note, how many decoys can fit in the do you call it the daddy bag? What's the name of the
No, I just
bag?
called the silo bag, the
Oh,
decoy
okay.
bag.
I wasn't sure if there
Um,
was a
I
special
don't even
name for
know.
that one too.
I don't even know. We put 5 dozen into it, and you can fit more. You could probably fit six, closer to six, maybe
Yeah.
five and a bit. Um, if you're doing ducks, you could probably fit 7 or 8 comfortably.
That is it is
You
a
have to
heavy duty bag
flip
too.
them
Like
around. Yeah,
it is a heavy it will withstand. It like
yeah. We
it
did. That's the other thing. We didn't want that to be. We didn't want you to get it and somebody be like, "Oh, it feels cheap," right? So we
no.
um, we spent the time developing it also, like with the shoulder strap, like the height. So when you're walking through the field, you got your silo bag in tow, and you're walking over corn, and you're kicking the bottom of your decoy bag,
Yep.
right, with your heel, or your like the back of
Yep.
your calf, and you keep setting it up, like lifting it up. Ours, the measurements that we used for that is, it's always going to land with the strap on. It's always going to land just above your knee. Doesn't matter if you're 6'4". 6'4", it's going to be above a little bit further.
Mhm.
But if you're like 5 feet, like I had a guy at the sportsman show come up, and he was 5'1", 5'2". He wasn't a big
Well,
guy. He wasn't a
you
tall
saw the
guy.
size of Caitlin.
And Caitlin,
She's
yeah,
not
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it
So
is
when I think we did this with you guys, right? Didn't she put the
I'm
bag on
pretty
her
sure
shoulder?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that did
and it
happen,
and it
yeah.
came to her, and it comes to your knees, and like that
Yeah.
was important to us, because that's the thing that I think it's overlooked a lot.
Mhm.
Is like the comfort of hunting. People are okay being uncomfortable hunting. You don't
Yes.
have to be. And this is such a simple thing. You do a little bit of research, you can make these tweaks and these changes to make a more comfortable experience. I'm not saying it's Gucci, but
Well,
it's
we're
close
hunting.
close
We
to it.
are
It's close to
we're
it.
you diver duck hunt or duck hunt usually, it's not a Gucci hunt. It's
Yeah.
you're in the piss pouring rain and wind, and it's not fun.
Yeah, you're out when
Like
it's not a nice day, for
yeah,
sure.
it's like a lot of hunting is not nice hunting. Like
Yeah.
you're freezing, you're cold, you're wet, like it's
You're in
not a
the
good
elements for
time.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing we got to talk about it, the daddy hook.
The hook,
I'm
yeah.
so excited for you. As soon as you showed me that at the sportsman show, I was like, yes, yes,
Yeah.
I want this. I'm all about this. The ease and like the fact that you also had a demo, like you had your bucket, easy to
Yeah.
like, I'll let you explain it if
Yeah,
if
sure.
for those
So,
watching, if you have it, not everybody watches, but for those watching, if you
yeah.
have it,
If
oh
you're
my
just
goodness.
listening, pull up the YouTube channel and watch it because it's gonna be worth it. So
Yeah,
this is the
exactly.
hook. This is the hook. It's very simple, kind of simplistic design. I'll show you guys the what's it called? The prototype. So here's the prototype that I made out of styrofoam. This is
That's
how I had to get my
fantastic.
this is how I had to get my idea right. So I drew this on a paper, put it on a cardboard, took the cardboard, laid it on some insulation, carved the insulation out, and that this is what I kind of went with. I had a guy in Burlington go and do. He made me like a 3D rendering. I got this to him.
Yeah.
He did a 3D rendering, cleaned it all up, printed it in like 3D printed it, and then that's what I used to manufacture, and we created the file. So that was the initial design, and this is what we came with. So it was very, very similar, like close to what we did. We added something here on the hook, this thing here, so that when there's like a little bit of a lip, so if you are walking, the decoys aren't just going to fall off the hook,
Mhm.
and that was important to the design, that you're not just going to start losing stuff.
Yeah.
You can fit about 30 decoys on it, and it's
Game
lightweight
changer.
aluminum. Yeah,
Like,
there's nothing really to it. It's just we thought of it because out of necessity, because everybody at the beginning of a hunt, right? Let's say you have 3 silhouette bags, right? You got 20 dozen going out. Everybody goes, they grab a handful, right? You grab
yep.
14, 15 decoys, you walk out, you're holding them sideways, you're placing them in, bam, 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 bam. Then you walk back to the bag, you get some more, and you do your thing, right? You set up your spread. And then at the end of the hunt, the bags come out, everybody kind of takes a bag, you put them beside each other because I think we all do the same thing.
Yep.
It's a social thing, right? You put all the bags there, then everyone goes, starts picking up decoys with your fingers, gloved hands, whatever, and you can
Oh,
only
terrible.
carry 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 12 in your hand. It's cumbersome. You're tired. You're okay. You're done with the hunt. So you're like, you're holding them sideways. They're falling all over the place. Then you get to the bag, and you've got to jig them all straight every time, right?
Shuffle. Yeah.
So then eventually it becomes one guy's job to sit there on his knees. You're just going to go and plop decoys beside them, and then somebody, they're the ones sorting all the decoys into place and putting
Yeah.
them in the bag. This way now, and there's a video on our Instagram that Zach from Stay True took, and you're able to just go and imagine just being able to go bang, 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 pick up 30 decoys, and then go over your bag and just slide them off the hook into the bag. They're
And
sitting upright, so pretty in the bag. It's perfect. They
and
don't get damaged.
that's the demo that you kinda had going at the Sportsman Show. That's what I did. That's what sold me and Caitlin on the hook, and
Yeah.
I came up to your booth, I was like, "Oh, like, wifey's not gonna let me spend money," and then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, like, we're all about
Visa.
this." Like, yeah, she's like, "I've got the credit card," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, like,
Yeah.
whatever," like,
Yeah.
because like,
No, it was fun.
that hook is just like for us too being women, again, like we're awkward, like yes, I have long arms, I can hold the decoys in my hand, but like again, it's not fun.
You're walking around, exactly, and you're walking
Like
around, you're tripping over corn and whatever, and then you're dropping
yeah,
decoy.
like
If your decoys have flocked heads and you drop them in the mud, you make a mess of them. That sucks,
no,
right?
yeah, and that's like it's just so much simpler to just like and again, even if you were going through and picking them up by the hook, like you still can't fit that many in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then it just
Yeah.
becomes like it's cutting into your hand and stuff like that. So that hook, and then if you get two hooks going, like you're just like boom,
Yeah.
like
You could have
just
one person can go and pick up basically the full spread
like
in
that
minutes. As fast as you can walk past the decoys, you can pick them up,
like
right?
that in itself, like sets your company like the game changer. That in itself is just absolute pure brilliance.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't I was so blown away from that. I was like, "Oh my god, I like how come nobody all the silhouette companies, how come nobody has thought about
Yeah.
something like this?" Cuz it's not like you're the first silhouette company out there.
Definitely not.
And it's
Definitely won't
just
be the
like
last.
no. But like, how come somebody hasn't come up with that is
Yeah,
beyond me, because it's just, and
that's
silhouettes
okay. We'll take care of it.
silhouettes are the way people are going, as everybody knows. So you don't just do geese, you said you do ducks as well.
Yep.
Are you, with certain turkey season coming up, I've heard, because I've heard you on a couple other podcasts, you do turkey hunt. Are
Yeah.
you gonna dive into the turkey silhouette market, or just kind of?
We're looking at it. I think like, so we have a design. We're going through a design right now. Um Again, we want something that's going to separate us. That's not just going to be a picture of a fanned out Tom
Yeah.
sitting there, right? I do want it to be a little bit different, so I'm tinkering with it. We're not in a rush. Definitely nothing's coming this year.
No, yeah.
Maybe next year we'll get something, but it's going to be different than what we see on the market now. And I've preferred to hunt, like, I really like reaping. I think that's a fun way of
You're
turkey hunting.
nuts. Good for
Um,
you. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not physically fit enough to do that kind of stuff. I
No, no, me
I
either.
struggle trying to, we were checking and moving trail cams this afternoon. I was struggling
Yeah.
breathing. I was like, get out the golf cart. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to
No,
walk anymore.
reaping. So, like, my first turkey I shot was with an outfitter. It was a guide, actually. It was Luke Schurter's. I went
Oh
up
yeah,
and
up our area, eh?
yeah. I
Okay.
shot up there, and that was my first one. Was a Tom, or it was a Jake, and so I got in the morning. Then my buddy Matt, he missed all 3 rounds, and I remember,
No.
I think I heard the
I mean, I
second
can't say
round.
much. I've missed two, but like,
I heard the second round come out of the gun, and the Jake was just like, like dumbfounded. It was also attacking my bird that was dead on the ground or flopping. So
oh no.
it came over and was like attacking the other Jake. So bang, he misses. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna say shit. Bang, he misses again. I literally looked at him and go, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?"
And this is the gentleman that's been hunting longer than you?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the best
isn't
part.
that
It's the
fun?
best part. It's the best. So I go, "What are you doing?" Then it was just a joke, and then later, so we switched fields. We went up the road to another spot, and we found a big Tom.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, we're gonna reap this," because they didn't, for whatever reason, the guy was like, "This isn't gonna, like, he's not gonna come to us." It was a little bit later in the morning, approaching afternoon. He's like, "We gotta go get him," kind of deal. And so I stayed back and I just videoed it. I recorded it all, and so they got up to 40, 50 yards from it, and it saw them, and it just started charging the reaper,
Oh
and Matt
Jesus.
Matt popped up and shot him, whatever, got his kill. And that was such a cool way to see it.
That's
So
kind of
then,
terrifying too, because if you don't get up and shoot it and it's got spurs and it comes at you,
100%.
you're
And
gonna get hurt.
they're aggressive, and like when they want to go, I think at some
Yes.
point they won't care that you're not a turkey. They're just gonna come at you. I don't
Yes.
know, but like
I
when
wouldn't
you
want to
shoot
risk
them and
that.
you see those spurs, like an inch and a half spur. It's
Yes.
uncomfortable, right? Like,
This
if that gets
is
into your leg
terrifying.
or anywhere, that would suck. So I saw that and I was like, "God," like, and he talked about that for a year. Like, that was the best, like, the coolest kill that he's had on it. So I hunted I hunted turkey the following year at some property, whatever, and we were chasing this turkey around for, like, I hunted, like, basically every day or every other day. I was back trying to get this. There's a big beard. We called him BDR, Big Dick Rick, and he was just that was poor timing on your part.
That was very poor timing. Sorry,
so
continue.
so I ended up shooting this thing on the last day of the season, and I was in one field and he was in the other field, and I called the guy that had that field, and I was like, "Hey, listen, like, that bird I'm chasing around, like, he's in your field right now. Like, are you gonna come tonight or no?" And he goes, "I'm not gonna make it. Go get it." I said, "Yes."
Yeah,
So
you're
I
like,
packed my stuff
oh.
out, went over into his field, and he was probably about 600 yards, maybe 500 yards into the field.
Mhm.
So right from the roadway, I just literally crawled on my hands and knees, crawled, and just like, I had like I think it's a Primos. It's like an umbrella decoy, so it
Oh,
pops
yes,
out
yes, yes.
like an
Oh, I've seen
umbrella, but
those.
you
Yeah.
can see through it, right? And it's got the
Yep.
image on the front. So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna, like, I just crawled as long as I could," and probably like 400 yards, like forever. It took me like 20 minutes. I got it all on GoPro. It's like a 35-minute GoPro video of me crawling through this field. And then
Good for you.
I get within, I don't know, I get within like 20, 25 yards. I'm exhausted, eh? Like I'm just like, and I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
that's like Army, like,
And I
type
was
stuff.
also I was also pissed that my buddies weren't with me because this is like a guy knew like I'm gonna get a shot at this bird, and I was like, damn, I wish my boys were with me, you know.
Because 'Cause they're never
And
gonna
then
believe it either later.
no,
You're gonna tell
thank
them,
God
they'll be
I
like,
had,
"No, you
thankfully
didn't."
thankfully I had the GoPro on. I don't think any of my boys understand the true distance that I crawled and like pushing my gun into the dirt. You know what I mean? Like I felt like
Ugh.
such a. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Right? Like I'm
I'm
trying
in
to make
pain
sure the
thinking
arrow.
about that. Like,
Yeah.
no, thank you. No
So then I
mercy.
got up there. I yelped a call, whatever, popped its head up, and I shot it, and it dropped. And that was the coolest thing. Like to get that far. Like I think it'd be different if I only reaped it for 40 yards.
Yeah.
He didn't charge at me because he was pretty comfortable. Hit a bunch of hens. He didn't really care that I was there, but also didn't care that I was there. So he let me get close enough. So it was really cool. So I think when I make a decoy, it will be something that can provide that sort of a hunting experience for the people
The
that want
reaping.
to do that, right?
Yeah.
Um, doing a silo, um, you have to think like turkeys are very, very detail oriented, right? There's a
Yeah.
reason turkey hunting, you're not
Move.
dicking around, you're
You
not
cannot
moving, you're
move
not
a
chilling on your
muscle. Yeah.
phone. They're very detail oriented. And if they don't like how something looks, they aren't going to entertain it.
No.
So playing with silos, like a silhouette decoys, you know, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. So I'm not in a
Yep.
rush. Maybe I don't even do it next year, if I can't get it right, because I won't release a product that I'm not 100% in. If I love it, we'll release it, right? If I get good
Yeah.
feedback, we'll release it. But if it's not something that we're
So,
gonna rush.
just out of curiosity, because seeing how animated you are, is turkey hunting, like, your favorite hunt? I know you are the goose decoy
Yeah, like
daddy, but is turkey
yeah,
your favorite? And it's okay to admit it.
I
I
think it is in terms of like I feel like hunting turkey is you're really you have to immerse yourself in nature. You have no
You
choice.
gotta work for
You
that.
have so much work to do. Where like duck hunting and goose hunting, you have to work. It's just a different level of work. Yeah,
Yes.
if your spread doesn't look right, ducks and geese will flare.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But you can
Yeah.
research that and you can like, oh, we should do a
Yeah,
little bit of a wider J. We can, you can make those little
yeah.
adjustments. But with
So, like,
turkey, they think so fast. So
and
if you
their eyes are insane too,
and you got
and,
to
like,
call
they can
good. If your
see
calls aren't good, then they're
if
not coming
like,
either.
yeah, like, I've seen a lot of mediocre goose and duck calling, and I've seen them come in. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not the greatest duck or goose caller, but I've had goose and duck come in. Like,
me
but
either.
the
Yeah,
spread looked fine. Like, I usually run I used to before all what we talked about the sportsman show. Like when I had my big spread, I would run
yeah,
like in the kill hole would be the full bodies and all the silhouettes around it. And
yeah.
but like with turkeys, like it's just so
You have one chance, right? You got one or
yeah.
two decoys. You're not going out there. You can't fool them
And you can't
with a
move
bunch
them.
of cheap decoys, and you can't move them.
No.
You gotta like you've got to be right. You have to know what they're gonna do,
Yeah.
what they're gonna think, where they're gonna be looking. You got to set yourself up appropriately. Like whenever I hunted turkey out of like a blind or like we created ground blinds, I always made it so that the birds were never coming straight at me with the decoys in between it. I was
Mhm.
always off to the side because I don't want them to be at like even somewhat looking in my direction.
Yeah.
Ideally,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, no, I think like turkey's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You can't. It's not as
It's
social,
my favorite.
right?
And
Yeah,
I'm like I I am so excited for turkey. We just moved our trail cams. We're looking at where we're gonna set up. Caitlin's parents have 175 acres that we hunt on.
yeah,
And it was funny, we were driving home and what do we see but all the turkeys? And we're just like, "Oh my god, like bring on the season." Like
yeah. Ready to go.
just so exciting.
I did.
Okay.
I did we did a scout the other day. I did like just myself. I went to one of the properties in Hamilton. I've got a mint property, but it's bow only. You can't. It's no
I was
discharge
gonna
like for
say
firearms. Yeah.
So where do you hunt out of?
So
You
this
have to drive a bit now,
property,
don't you?
no, like my turkey fields, I got two turkey fields. One is, I don't know, 11 minutes south of me,
Okay.
and it takes no time to get there. And that's, I can shoot gun there. I'm one concession good in the gun zone, if you will. And then the
Yeah.
other one, we're bow only.
Mhm.
So I don't even have a crossbow. I literally borrow my buddies. I'm gonna get a bow. I just haven't done it yet. And I went there the other day to go check it out. So that's an old pear tree farm.
Oh
So
shit.
it's got heavy hardwoods. It's
Yep.
covered. It's surrounded by, more or less. It's surrounded by, like, on this side of the street, it's all like residential houses. 1,000 houses, and
Yeah.
on that way, it's farmer. It's fields, right, with the odd house, right.
Yeah.
So it's just, they're untouched. The property that I'm on is locked in, and it's fantastic. So I rolled in there, and like clockwork. They jump off the roof same time every day. They land in the same spot, and then they walk the pear fields, and they just eat whatever garbage, like all the rotten pears, right?
Oh,
So they have no need to travel into the next guy's property. That, I think, I don't even know what he farms, if he farms anything. It's just empty. So they're always in that area. And then, so I was driving by the other day. It's like I'm driving, like looking down the like the pear, like the lines, like the lanes, and there's nothing. And then it's deer, deer, deer. It's like doe, doe, doe. And then I'm like, where there's deer, there's turkeys.
there's turkey.
and
Yeah.
then and then there's like three lanes empty, and then it was like three lanes of turkeys, and it was
Yeah.
like four or five like nice big toms. I got some nice pictures on my phone, and then they were maybe 60 yards away, and then I don't know, five or six hens. So I was like,
Yeah.
fucking
It's
mint.
just yeah, and like we're coming like her Caitlin's dad farms and stuff like that, and like when he I don't know the correct terminology because I'm from Burlington, when he
Yeah,
tills the
right. we
land or
we
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
and like the worms come up and stuff like that, the birds are all in there.
Hmm.
And so his one field is clovers, and we a bird we got a couple of years ago, my eldest was like, let's open its stomach to see what's in there. I'm like, you're 8. Okay. Let's
Not a bad idea.
I'm like, okay, cool. And
You gotta know what they're eating.
it was all clovers. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they were clearly, and it is the field we shot it in. But I'm
Yeah,
like, it is full of
so that's where
clovers.
they're hanging
So
out.
yeah. So like, and it's not a terrible idea to open up their stomachs to see where they're eating, because then
Yeah,
that helps you pattern them too, right?
yeah,
Like, okay, like you're not gonna be the only one, but
yeah,
um yeah, I'm really excited for turkey.
yeah,
So getting back to business side of things a little bit, where do you like obviously long-term plans for Decoy Daddy? Do you have any more? You were at the Sportsman show, and that's how we kind of connected. I think like you
yeah,
and I had spoken over Instagram a few times like prior to the Sportsman show. Just I was
yeah,
like, I think I reached out to you like, hey, like it's awesome that you're like this an up and coming company, Canadian. Like, where are you out of?
yeah,
Because I'm always curious about that kind of stuff, because I'm very much like, let's support Canadian stuff, especially with decoys, because it's so
yeah,
goddamn expensive to get them out of the States.
yeah.
But then, yeah, meeting you at the Sportsman show, and I think we sat there for what, like an hour and a half chatting,
We were there for a while.
and
Yeah, it
and
was
then
good.
and then proceeded to, after the show, we went out for
Yeah,
supper and everything like
yeah, that was
that.
good.
Like it was a lot. Yeah, we were there for quite a bit. Um, so what's your future plans? Like, you got merch coming out, brand
I know I got to
ambassadors.
get you a sweater. I know we got to
Yes,
get you and Caitlin a sweater.
yes, you
Um,
do.
it's
Absolutely.
funny. I didn't think anybody would want these, so I literally had five of them made for me and my buddies, and I was like, whatever. This is what we're gonna wear at the
I
show.
wear this
This is
hat.
our uniform.
I actually love this hat. I'm
Do you?
obsessed with this hat.
I'm
I
stoked.
wear it. I wear it quite a bit, actually.
I've got some compliments on it. Like, I was at sale the other day, and a guy stopped me. Actually, he saw me at the show, and then he recognized me. He's like, "Oh, you're the decoy guy, aren't you?" I go, "Yeah." And then he reminded me that he came by and we had chopped the shit a little bit at the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like merch will come. It's not a core, like it's not where I want to sink the money into. The
No.
hats, I wanted to do that like right away because it was cool to have them, available to buy on the thing. And like people like you guys, you like the hats, and I'm excited for that.
Mhm.
So there will be some more stuff coming down the line. Um we're kind of changing our bags, like our waterproof bags. I don't know if you saw those. I don't think we really talked about them much, but we're working
Mm-mm.
on those. Those are the prototypes. So we'll be changing the zippers. They'll have a bigger pull and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then, but I mean, like, long term is out of the garage and hopefully have a warehouse of some sorts, right? Maybe a
Yeah.
couple thousand feet would be nice. A
Yeah.
1,000 feet, 2,000 feet would be nice, um, but not in a huge rush. We do have another way, like we can warehouse material in like a third party like thing, but I'd say the big like where we're trying to get to is we're trying to build that brand equity where people get to see our brand on podcasts like yours and learn about us and see what we're about and see what we're doing and see that we came out of nowhere legitimately. There's no doubt about that.
It's
And
Hamilton.
yeah, but we're gonna move the needle on this for sure. We're gonna
Yeah.
push to get our main thing is just getting good product to hunters in Canada and try and make it affordable so that more people can join the sport. Um, Unfortunately, like it's one of those things that, I work my main job is like I have an office job. And when people they're like, oh, you shoot quails? Like they think I go quail hunting like every day. Like they don't, they just have no clue. They just
What?
have no clue,
What is
right?
this?
Like they don't
Wedding
know that.
Crashers? That just
Yeah,
reminds me of
legit.
Wedding Crashers.
100%. And then
Like,
they go like, oh, like you shoot geese, aren't those protected? No, they're not
no.
protected. They're not
No. Do you
protected.
see how many there are? They're
Could you imagine?
overpopulated.
Could you
Could you
imagine if
imagine?
nobody hunted them?
Oh, no. They
We
are
would all work for geese.
overpopulated. They are overpopulated and we hunt them.
Huge,
And
huge.
it's insane. And
Yeah,
like especially in our area, like I know my mom's place of work, like she's got probably like almost 100 geese there a day that'll come eat your
yeah,
face. Like cobra
yeah,
chickens, they're
yeah.
assholes.
Oh yeah, they're there, man. And especially now, right? Like
Like
like this time of the year, they're all nesting, right? So
yeah,
my
like
sister my sister works in Burlington. They had to put signage on the front door, like give the geese their space because they will attack you.
yes. And
People don't get it.
yes, it's
100%.
it's absolutely a thing. And
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine if we didn't hunt them
yeah.
because
No,
it would be probably worse. Like a lot
100%.
worse.
I think we would all have to. We would have like chick or goose leaders walking around the street. They're
Yeah.
just they're wild, but we our focus right now is getting our brand equity and building our brand and meeting as many people as we can and getting our decoys into as many people's hands as we can,
Mhm.
so they can see the quality and feel the quality before
Yes.
they make a purchase. And the Sportsman Show was a fantastic way
Well,
for us to do that, right?
that's where we met, and
Yeah, we had a lot of people.
we will probably be buying more and building our spread, starting
Yeah,
to rebuild our spread off that. I
yeah,
can't, like I said, I can't wait to try them. Like again,
yeah,
when you're able to see them, feel them, it's nice, but until we use them, like
yeah. Oh, for
so,
sure, 100%. Um, so that's our main thing right now is just create that brand equity, and then that's going to roll into the whole ambassador program. We got asked a bunch of times at the trade show, at the Sportsman Show, like, oh, hey, I signed up for your ambassador program. No, you didn't. It's not us.
mhm,
Um, we're not running an ambassador program because what we're trying to do is create a brand that people want to be a part of.
mhm,
Guys have reached out to me, oh, like I want to be a part of it. You don't know anything about us. You haven't shot over the decoys. You haven't held the decoys.
yeah,
We haven't had a conversation. People that I'm going to align myself with, like as a brand ambassador program, like I'm going to have to like you, I guess, right? Like I'm gonna have
yes,
to get a good vibe from you, and
yeah,
and because when you're doing that, you're an extension of our company, right? So if you go and you do something
absolutely,
stupid, or you go and you talk ill of other companies or other people in the industry, like that complicates things for me, right?
mhm,
I don't want
yeah,
that tied to my brand. Um, and I think most of the big brands, right, like all these ammunition companies and gun companies and other decoy companies, if you're an ambassador for them and you're wearing their attire and you're pushing their brand, and then you go spout off on like Facebook or Instagram about somebody or something, It
It
just
doesn't
looks
look good.
poorly. It looks poorly on everybody,
Doesn't look
right?
good. Nope.
So our selection process will be, it'll be unique. I would say anybody that we sign up for a brand ambassador will probably sit down and have a beer before we do that. Like I'll sit down with somebody and have a beer with them because like that's how I am as a person. Um, I think that'll be a little bit. If guys are out west or whatever, maybe it's different. But
Yeah.
that's who I want to align ourselves with, is like-minded people.
Well, and I mean, like again, like that's a huge thing. You want with a brand ambassador, which is what. So with my sponsorships and my talks, like we have been talking, they have creeped my social media extensively because
Yeah,
again, they don't want somebody. And I mean, I'm not ever somebody that airs their drama over social media. If I have a
yeah,
problem with you, I will reach out to you. Like,
privately.
yeah, that has
Yeah,
nothing, it has nothing to do with social media. Social media
yeah,
is for fun and promoting and all the uplifting. That's the word
yeah,
I was looking for.
yeah, yeah,
Like to me, that's what social media is about. And that's kind of why I started this podcast, is
yeah,
uplifting. Now I'm branching out, not just Canadian women. Now I'm uplifting Canadian businesses.
yeah.
You are Tone. I'm really sorry. I have to admit that Tone smash Maleka. I'm really sorry. I know you said you wanted to be the first man on my podcast, but I got to go with old Burlington. Like he's my homeboy. He's the homeboy. He's the Robinson boy, like with
Oh
me.
god.
So
Yeah.
don't hate me. And
Here, well, cheers to
yeah,
Tone.
cheers to
Cheers.
Tone. Sorry, I hope you're drinking a twisted tea. I am so getting a text for this.
Yeah,
He's
there
gonna
we go.
hate me.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like, and that's like, I don't know. I think like yes, social media is a place to uplift people, and if you want people representing your brand, you want them to be not well, yes, respectable, but like
yeah.
I don't know,
I want you
like
to be a normal person at the end of the
yeah,
day, right?
like
Like not everyone's perfect. I'm
maybe
far
not
from
some
perfect.
uptight individual, but like somebody that you can sit down and have a beer with around like a
Yeah,
campfire or something like that. Like
yeah.
I
This
think
is
when
the
you
people you
found me at
want.
the Sportsman show, when you came up to invite me to dinner, I was having a beer with the Eating Wild Boys playing guitar and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
just want like a
exactly.
normal person.
Exactly.
So
That's it.
so you will eventually then be doing a brand
We
ambassador.
will. We will. I don't know if it'll be before this season. We might. I don't know. I don't know. It's not something that I've put too much time into thinking about right now, because right now I have to build a brand that guys want to be a part of. Guys and girls
Yes.
want to be a part of. Right? That's the main
Have you
part.
have you had a lot of sales like outside of Ontario?
Yeah, we shipped no, we shipped two orders to BC. One was our giveaway winner. He was in BC.
Mhm.
Lots in Quebec.
Yeah.
We haven't shipped to Alberta yet, but we've had a couple of guys like ask for it. And then at the Sportsman show, we got some pre-order. We got some pre-orders. One guy's in like northern Manitoba,
Okay.
so that's going to cost a mint to ship, because I
That's
did like free shipping on the order.
yeah.
That'll suck, but it is what it
You
is.
know what? To get it out there,
Yeah,
it
100%.
what is it in business? It costs money to make money.
Yeah, yeah,
Like when
100%.
you're
So
starting out, it costs money to make money. So
yeah, and everything costs. Like it's there's things like we didn't necessarily like. I knew that there was a dollar figure to everything.
yep.
I didn't realize how minutely you have to scrutinize every dollar that we are spending. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But it's for the good. It's for the good of the company, right?
Yeah.
So by
Now,
keeping small and not giving out tons of free decoys, that helps, right? We
key.
had
Yep.
lots of companies reach out, not companies and people, I guess, just regular hunters.
Mhm.
Can I have a dozen? And I'll shoot pictures and give you pictures and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I love it. I like it. It's necessary, but also if I give out 50 dozen decoys,
You're losing.
that's a lot of money straight out of the company. Now it's like I can't roll that back into it, right?
Yeah.
And the return on that is almost immeasurable, unless somebody goes, "Oh, like I follow Scott and Scott posted the pictures of your decoys, so Scott shoots over them, I shoot over them. Can I buy 10 dozen?" Okay, that's measurable. That doesn't happen though, right? So it's
Mhm.
hard to say like, oh, is it going to be worth it to give this guy 10 dozen, 5 dozen, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
we haven't yet. And I'm glad that we haven't because it costs too much money.
Um, do you have is it just you? Like, are you the only one, like
So it's me and my fiance. My fiance is
so she's
is
putting up with a lot.
no, she is, and like
Good for her. Honey,
she's killing it.
if you're listening,
Yeah,
another woman
yeah,
of the outdoors,
yeah.
next time
There
you
she
and I will
is.
chat, next time me and the decoy mama will chat.
I told her I was like, you may have to come down here and set the record straight a little
Yeah, yeah.
bit.
Well, so if you're the decoy daddy, she's gonna be the decoy mama.
Decoy mama for sure.
That's what we're
She
gonna
has
call
to.
her.
She has to be.
Yep.
She's been fantastic, and like you can see on the Instagram where she took over, where she like signed in. She's like, okay, I'll do the post now, and she started creating some amazing, um, like the posts are just more detailed. They're
I was
better.
gonna say, like,
They're
if
clean.
that's her that's making that stuff, can I hire her to do some of
Yeah,
my stuff? Like,
absolutely,
what?
absolutely. She's killing it, and like I didn't know she knew how to do this stuff, but she figured it out, and really happy with how it turned out. And like, she helps me with all the shipping and all that. Like
Yeah.
we're doing this together, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
I
it's
mean,
been really
like,
cool.
your partner is I mean, I'm super lucky also to have a partner that I so like she's never on camera because that's not her thing, but she'll
Yeah,
help me be like, okay, like so this like what am I gonna ask? Okay, so ask this. Like she helps me like plan
yeah,
behind the scenes and like that kind of stuff. Like she doesn't like to be on camera, it's not her thing, but
yeah,
she'll help me plan everything. Or like
yeah.
if we're gonna do a film, which we're starting now to get into the filming side of things, she'll help me do that kind of stuff. So like a supportive partner is like absolutely everything. And if you have
It's
that,
huge.
like which
Yeah.
sounds like you do. Okay, what's the next question? Are you planning on getting into like stores like Canadian Waterfowl Supplies, Sale, Canadian Tire? Like
So I
what's
definitely I don't think we would entertain anybody big. Like if you're talking about like Bass Pro and Sale and
yeah,
Cabela's and stuff like that. Like I don't want to be held ransom by a retailer that could
okay.
crush me just as fast as they could, support me. I don't like
And
that.
yeah.
That's not why I got into this. Essentially this is a hobby for me, right? Like this right
Yeah.
now, it's a hobby. It's an expensive for hobby, but it's not my main source of income, and not that it's not getting my attention. It's getting a lot of my attention, and but I don't want somebody else to bury my product, right? So
Yeah.
when you talk about those big companies, if they say, "Oh, I'll take 5,000 dozen," that product, those agreements trump a lot of things, and you have to get that product to them before anybody else. And I don't
Mhm.
want the other consumers, like customers, not getting product because of that. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I don't want to be a part of.
So you're just kind of
Um,
sticking to like direct to consumer.
right now, direct to consumer, but we will entertain smaller stores
I was gonna say like
in
local.
strategic areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So like, a spot up north wouldn't be a bad idea. Like Sudbury. I,
Like,
I don't know. I
or
haven't done the research.
we have one of our one-off outback hunting and fishing stores up here, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, right?
So like something like that would make sense because that local area probably frequents those stores and they'll be more inclined to pick up versus paying for shipping or waiting,
Yeah.
right? That sometimes they just want to go. Like I feel like hunters are um I would prefer to go to the store and pick it up 10
Yeah.
times. Like I would travel an hour before I had it shipped
See,
all day.
I'm lazy. I'm just like, "Oh,
Are you?
just
See,
ship it
I
to
would
me."
rather pick it up. I'd rather go in there and pick it up
Now
and
I'm
leave
gonna
it.
be strategic in when I order from you because I'm gonna order it and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go down to my parents that week, and I can just pick it up
Yeah,
from you there. We'll have a
there you
beer.
go.
I'll pick it up from you. We're good to go."
Hmm.
That's what it'll be. It's like, "Oh, I'm down
Yeah,
at my parents in Burlington. Cool. I'll meet up with Eric. We'll have a
yeah.
beer. I'll pick up my decoys. It's fine."
There we go. That makes sense.
And
So
that's
we'll
I'm one of those
entertain it.
lucky people.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few. It's kind of cool. Like there's guys that one guy lives in Binbrook. We met up at Shoeless Joe's one night when he bought his decoys, and we did it like that. I don't have no problem doing that. I like doing it. I like meeting people that are buying our product and
Yeah.
supporting us and thanking them. But we'll entertain. I think another one would be like out east,
Mm-hmm.
like Peterborough area,
Yep.
Peterborough,
Oh, Peterborough. Yep.
Belleville, Kingston, something like
Yep.
that, and then maybe a spot in Quebec would
Yep.
be good. A spot out like Nova Scotia, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like strategic like that. I don't need somebody in my postal code selling
Right.
it, right? Like I wouldn't go down the street and sell it to that guy. Um, if it makes sense, right? But like it has to make sense for not only me, has to make sense for the consumers, the
Mm-hmm.
customers. One thing I said, like if I'm thinking about having a location stock our product, I'm going to call that company 10 times over the course of a week. Does the phone get answered every time? How do they
Mm-hmm.
answer the phone? When I ask them a question, do they shrug you off and just like, oh, like I don't know. Um,
Which is
I don't want that,
valid.
right? Like
That's valid.
because if I'm going to put my product in your store, I want you to be attentive
Invested.
to
Yeah.
our customer. You know what I mean? And I want everyone to have the best experience. I don't want to put my product into a store that when people go there, they don't want to be there, right? It's just not. It's not. It doesn't make sense for anybody. So it'll be slow. It'll be a different process, I think. Um, but
I've,
we have to increase the brand awareness, and people need to want it, right?
mhm.
So as a retailer, they're not going to necessarily going to go and take a skid just to take a skid. So
It's awesome that you are just so conscientious of the business. Like you're not trying to pump out like, oh, take stuff for free or whatever. Like just try it. Like you're like, no, no, no. Like learn about us. Like try it
yeah,
out, and then like it's amazing. Because a lot of up and coming brands are just like, oh, we're just gonna pump out stuff for free. Like do this, do that. Be the brand ambassador. We'll send you whatever for free and stuff like that, just to pump out their brand. And it may not be that great. It's very nice that you're humble enough to be like, you know what, cool. It might be great that these big names are reaching out and they want stuff for free, but no, we're going to actually stand by our product and have, because you haven't been, it's only been a few months. Like this coming waterfowl season will be your first waterfowl season
yeah,
to the public, correct?
yep, yep,
So this cut, yeah. So the fact that you're waiting until like you have like a waterfowl season under your belt with people actually using your product, like that's
yeah,
just shows like that to me. That's incredible because you were just a humble human. Like you're not trying to like you genuinely stand behind your product enough to be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that until you shoot over our decoys.
yeah. Like I want people to
Like
be comfortable with what they're doing, right? I think that's very important. I think that a lot of companies aren't that way, right? And I think customer
no.
service is going to be huge for us. Like I just heard Excalibur, like the bow, that their customer service is like fantastic.
Mhm.
I heard a story today, and I was like, that's the idea that I want in the market. Like when people think of Decoy Daddy, I want them to be like they're good products, good people, good service. That's what we want.
Well, it's really funny. So when Revolution Armory and I were talking, Andrew Clubb, gonna give a quick shout out to him. Sorry, we're gonna digress a little bit. Andrew Clubb came down to shoot guns with us because I was like, I don't know if I want to do a sponsorship until like I shoot your guns. So he
Yeah,
came down, brought a bunch of guns, we shot them, but he also had like 4 or 5 customer guns in his truck that he picked up from the customers to try and fix them, figure out what the problem was, and then if there was like a like problem that he couldn't fix, get them new ones.
yeah,
Like he
that's
physically
huge.
went and picked them up from the
Yeah,
customers. And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, yeah, it's customer service. Like we warranty it, we have guarantees on the guns. Like I of course I'll go do that." And like that kind of stuff, like that in itself, I was like, "Okay, so I definitely kind of want to align myself with this brand a bit because again,
yeah,
it's something it's like, okay, so if you're going to
that
drive
integrity.
he lives up near Ottawa, and he came down to Bruce
Oh shit.
Peninsula to shoot guns with me.
Oh wow.
So, And I'm like I'm like, "Okay, if that's something." Now granted, he does have family out this way, but still, the fact that he was like, "You know what, Nicole, like, let's do this," like, he probably
Yeah,
wasn't expecting to plan a family visit the weekend we
yeah,
shot guns, and I'm like, "Okay, well, if you guys are wanting to do that," and then hearing he's picking up guns and helping warranty and do stuff like that, I'm like, "Okay, well, you have integrity then." Like,
yeah,
you want to have the best product, and you want to make sure it's properly like, it's in the customer's hands, and it's
yeah,
not broken, it's what it's supposed to be, like, that's a huge thing for me. Like,
yeah,
not some
yeah.
people that just like, like, "No, I wanna deal with it,"
Yeah,
like
thanks for your money. We got it. You didn't like it. Too bad. Figure it out.
yeah, and
We
that's
don't
exactly
want
it.
that.
Or
Yeah,
just, like, a straight refund, like, "Oh, okay, here you go." Like,
yeah,
"No, what's the problem? Can you fix it? Like, is it fixable?" Or, like,
yeah.
that's
Work with me a
that's
little bit.
yeah, and that's the thing,
Yeah,
like, and that's I don't know, it's just it was an amazing experience with him, and I'm actually very Andrew Club, if you're listening, you're an awesome human, and I'm very excited to work with you guys again. Just
that's
throwing that
wicked.
out there. Just
That's
throwing that
wicked.
out
And good for
there.
you, man. That's a cool partnership to be a part of. So congratulations on that.
It was. Well, thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very excited to get my RX2 for turkey. The Go Hunt Birds boys I guess put the RX2 through the ringer over the fall, and they're happy with it, and I shot some rounds out of it, and I'm pretty happy with it, and I shot rounds out of another gun for waterfowl and a couple other things, and there's gonna be some things in the works over the next few months,
Cool.
so I'm pretty stoked about that. I think we need to do a Decoy Daddy Canadian Women of the Outdoors waterfowl hunt this fall.
For sure. I think we're gonna do what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set up there's a gun like a skeet club in Dunville, the
Oh, yeah.
Lithuanian club.
Yep.
So in I'm thinking August, maybe early September, we'll be hosting an event there. If we can get 50, 60, 70 people there, we're gonna take care of everything at the event. So there's gonna be food and everything's gonna be included. So it's gonna be like 50 or $60. We're trying to figure that out. Come in, try out some new ammunition, pattern your guns so people
Yep.
can expect, can if you got a new firearm over at the sportsman show or whatever, it gives you an opportunity to do that. Meet new people, hang out for a couple hours. So we'll definitely
I was
keep
gonna
you
say, let
apprised of
me
that.
know because I may be able to bring some different firearms to the event as well for people
There
to try. So
that would be nice too, for
yeah,
sure.
that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, keep us posted on that because that's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah,
Um, anyway, we are way over our hour mark.
yeah, yeah. We're over it.
And we probably could have kept talking and talking and
Yeah,
talking. Just so we may have to circle back after waterfowl season starts and see where you're at from there. But thank you, Eric, so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. You are
thanks
my
for having me.
first man. You're the first man on
Oh
Canadian
man,
Women of the Outdoors.
thank you. What an honor.
Well, I mean,
That's cool.
I would be I don't know, it's kind of here I am like saying like we want women to be all included and stuff like that, but at the same time, like you are a gentleman pursuing a business out of Canada, and you were nothing but amazing and nice to us
I appreciate
when
that.
we
Yeah,
talked to you at the sportsman show. You were not nose up at us. You you stood and talked to me and Caitlin for a good hour and a half.
yeah.
Like, there was no, like, "I don't wanna be talking to those girls," like, you were a gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It didn't even cross my mind. Like, there's no doubt. Like, you guys are doing the same things we're doing all
Yeah,
day. So keep doing
yeah.
it. Fucking, you're
So,
doing it better than I am, probably.
there I have no qualms with introducing a Canadian business. Again, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening, you guys need to check out Decoy Daddy. You mentioned your website's not figured out. So what would
No,
be
it's
the
going.
best
So it's
what's the best way to reach you if they want to order or talk to you?
Instagram.
Instagram,
Instagram
Facebook?
comes right to my phone. Like, I'm talking to guys at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's
Okay.
wild. I have no whatever.
And it's
On the
at
website, you can
Decoy
still
Daddy?
place orders at the Decoy Daddy.
At the Decoy Daddy. Okay, so his
Yeah,
Instagram is at the Decoy Daddy. Best way to contact him.
Yeah.
Is that for ordering product as well right now? Because the
So you
website's
can
in
message me, but
transition.
you can order it on. So right now that website is still active, so we can still do that. We haven't switched over. Nobody will know when we switch over. It's just it'll be a little bit of a different
Okay.
layout, but it's not going to interfere with the business. So you
Okay.
can still go and place orders for pre-orders on the bags and the decoys and the hooks and all that.
Okay.
So
But if
you
people
can
are
do that.
having problems, I think you can just reach out to Eric
Yeah, message me
directly.
on
He's
Instagram
pretty,
and
yeah,
we get right to it
he's a pretty
for
fantastic
sure.
guy. And if you haven't ordered your daddy hook, order it. Like
Get to.
that's if you have not ordered your daddy hook, do it. That's all I gotta say. I cannot
Yeah.
wait for mine. If you hunt over silhouettes, the daddy hook is an absolute must. And
Yeah.
you released the second color. I
We
seen
did. We're
that.
doing hunter orange and we're doing extended hook. So it's like 22 inches. So if you're hunting from like water, like in a boat, you don't have to get right underneath it. You can go and scoop up the lines, the decoy lines.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well,
Episode
you and
2.
yeah, I was gonna say episode 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
we're constantly innovating stuff. But we're gonna continue to do this until we're blue in the face. So
and then you need to get your merch going.
and then we're gonna get some sweaters.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for mine.
It's coming. It's
I'm
coming. It's coming.
obsessed with that sweater. Okay, Eric, thank you so much for coming out again. So
Thank you so much.
Decoy Daddy, at Decoy Daddy for his Instagram. I believe his Instagram has the website attached to it for ordering. Again, if you have not seen the Daddy Hook, that will change all your life. That's like I can't speak highly enough about it. Tried it out at the Sportsman Show. Can't wait to use it in the field. Um, but keep an eye out. I think this boy is the new kid on the block, and he's gonna be a pretty big kid on the block.
I appreciate it.
He's gonna be a big boy on the block, and I'm super excited to say like I went to this is a MM boy. He's a Robinson
Yeah.
boy.
He's a right from those days.
He's a big old Burlington boy. So I'm
Yeah.
super proud to say that I had him on this episode. So thank you guys so much again. This episode is brought to you by Revolution Armory. Stay tuned for some videos with us patterning and hunting with their guns. And thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you guys for episode 16, in which we'll be featuring a beekeeper. We will be taking a different approach to the outdoors and chatting with somebody who collects honey and deals with the thing I'm most afraid of, which is actually bees. I'm terrified of bees. So that will be an interesting episode. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a great night. Big love.